mankind. And your first concern, doubling down on our efforts. And sometimes we also require you to talk for us a bit. We also need the resources to move. We've been talking about it all this while. I see the criticism a lot. That's fine. It's good to know people. But also ready to move. But yes, we are on our alive to our duties. And as I explained not too long ago, what is our ultimate aim? The ultimate aim not to see Kweku in jail or locked up. Our ultimate aim. And then it ends and I leave. The conversation on corruption would have shifted. Like a paradigm would have shifted. So that it will not just be business as usual. For people to know that when they engage in these acts, there's a price to pay, and a very hefty price to pay. For us here at the OSP, that message and that prevention drive is much more important than getting one person to jail. And if you get one person to jail successfully, that's fine. There are a million Kweku Mensens who are still engaged in the conduct which you have not been able to get to jail. But they are all freely engaging in such conduct, and the society is the worse for it. That is not so helpful a utilitarian model than to shift the conversation of corruption for us to stamp it down, suppress and repress it, and forge ourselves a better society. That is our ultimate aim, at least as far as I remain the special prosecutor. Thank you very much for coming. It's always a joy to see you and to brief and review and take questions from you. Have a pleasant day.
So that's the special prosecutor who's just provided details quite quickly in relation to investigations currently being carried out with respect to former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. 4 other investigations, but obviously the one that will be of interest to a lot of you watching at home will be the 4 cases upon which Ms. Ofori-Atta has been investigated on. We know there's the loss reduction contracts between ECG and Beijing Zhao. That is one of the many issues that Ms. Ofori-Atta is being investigated for. Procurement matters in relation to the National Cathedral. Then there are contract awarded by the Health Ministry to Service Ghana Auto Limited in relation to the ambulances and purchase of spare parts and others, as well as the GRS deal with SML. Those really have become the subject matters of interest upon which the Special Prosecutor Kisi Jabin wrote to Ms. Ofori-Atta seeking to have him appear in person only to catch word that he had traveled out of the jurisdiction, insisted upon the fact that he comes through, but subsequent letters from lawyers of Ms. Ofori-Atta has indicated that he's out of the country indefinitely on seeking medical treatment. The OSP believes that Ms. Ofori-Atta can return to the country and answer some of these questions. Hence, they are not taking the responses from the lawyers, reason why they've declared him wanted and a fugitive of justice. There are also other matters in relation to investigations being carried out into Minerals Income and Investment Fund MIF, as well as investigations into the Unified Petroleum Fund under the NPA, where the former CEO Mustafa Hamid is a person of interest, as well as payroll audits which were carried out by the OSP's office in the northern parts of the country. It says that 6 persons are being lined up at the Tamale High Court for investigation. There'll be a lot more of this with respect to the details of the investigations for you shortly on News Central, but right now these are the details as we've got from the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
Well, Egbeta. So Eric Egbeta giving us the latest from that press briefing by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and Kisi Ajabe himself, a known criminal lawyer as well as well-vetted criminal law lecturer, having not only taught the subject but also practiced it over the last 20 years at the helm of a special prosecutor. And we just have to, again, take you through what the history is when it comes to the recounted issues that the special prosecutor said has been under investigation over the last 2 years, more specifically, just entering into the 3rd year. And so from issues of discrepancy when it comes to finances, management, that have been the subject of investigations of the special prosecutor at the Electricity Company of Ghana. In 8 to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, a former president, and then subsequently appointed as the information minister, and subsequently also appointed as taxes that ordinary Ghanaians who are patrons or users of petroleum will pay at the pumps. That fund, when it comes to its management by the MPA, and then I'm sure also as part of the special prosecutor's own investigation, the management of those funds by the Ministry of Finance, and then headed at the time by former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, then will mean that these issues would need to be fully investigated. And the questions have been coming in and coming through by the journalists who were at that press conference asking of the Special Prosecutor Kisi Ajabe some critical or important questions like what are the reasons why, in relation to Ken Ofori-Atta as well as Mustafa Hamid, they are being investigated beyond what he had made in that announcement. However, the full analysis will be brought to you because at the states of the issues that are being discussed currently are how the management of the UPPF, when it comes to from the position of the former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, and then also with the supervision and administration by the MPA headed by Mustafa Hamid, could come to the state where 1.3 billion in relation to other issues, including payments for the works and then activities for the National Cathedral project also had been undertaken. But if a special prosecutor enjoined by the OSP Act is undertaking this, what are the implications? And if you're a fugitive as declared by the OSP, what are your rights enshrined in law? Professor Sari, a former registrar when it comes to the Ghana School of Law, currently also manages and also heads the Mount Crest Law School right here in Accra, will be joining us very soon. When we have him on the line, this will be some of the critical issues we will be asking him. He's already joined us. Professor Sari, good morning to you.
Good morning. My name is Mr. Kwekwan. I'm not Professor.
Pardon me for that. Mr. Sari.
I'm distinct from Professor Kwekwan. I'm Kwekwan. And they have always been correcting you people. Yes, okay, so let's discuss this matter. I'm surprised that the special prosecutor can publicly declare a former finance minister as a fugitive and wanted. When first of all, I'd like to know from the special prosecutor the efforts or attempts he has made. Has he invited the former minister for questioning? Has he resorted to the long arm of the criminal justice process? Has he engaged the DNI? Has he engaged Interpol? Has he done all that? I mean, don't let us just allow ourselves to be used by incumbent government, you see, to declare a former finance minister as a wanted fugitive. It's a very serious matter. It's an act of disgrace to the nation. Let us go about it in a more civilized manner. What has the former finance minister done? Where was the special prosecutor when Ghanaians angrily declared the cathedral, one of the museums and entertainment spots, of the former president Anado Dankwa Akufo-Addo? He did nothing. If anyone has to be declared wanted, the special prosecutor must be the first to put on the wanted list. Where was he when all these things were going on? He did nothing. Somebody took $42 million. He did nothing. People have stolen. He didn't do anything. Why this high profile, early morning drama in a very serious country like Ghana? We don't need that. We don't need that. We know where the foreign minister is. We should invite him civilly. And let's go about it in a more civilized manner than what the drama that he is showing to the media. We should have none of that. Our appointees should be more responsible and held to account. I'm not interested in this the blatant show of sophistry and drama. It should come again. I don't think there are any serious issues to talk about. There are many more serious problems confronting the nation than just embarrassing a former finance minister. Ken Ofori-Atta is not my friend, but it's not the way to go about it. We are a more civilized nation, and we must do things in a more civilized manner than what we are currently showing. It will not do us any credit. It's going to do us more harm than good. More harm than good. That's my comment.
All right. So following that, would you say, per the Special Prosecutors Act, or the act that established the office of the Special Prosecutor, Kisia Jabin, being the Special Prosecutor, is enjoined or has the powers to make the declarations following those investigations he started making?
The constitutional processes. After you go through the constitutional processes, I think invited Ken Ofori-Atta, I think use the YOCO or the NID or the TID, or Interpol, to invite him, and the man declined the invitation. What exactly has the former finance minister done to warrant this disgraceful action on the part of the special prosecutor? Can the special prosecutor tell the nation what he has done up to now? He himself must be sacked. The special prosecutor should be relieved of his position. The special prosecutor must be relieved of his position. His Muslim friend is Godfrey Dami, the Attorney General. Ask him what the Attorney General has done in the period. We have calamity issues. What has the special prosecutor done? What has he done? We have foreigners, who are, tearing the country apart financially. What has he done? So he should make sure that he is not used by the current government, to embarrass the ministers, or the former government. This kind of theatrical show should be nipped in the bud. If I have my way, the special prosecutor should be arrested.
There are processes enshrined within the Act.
The special prosecutor in action has, led Ghana to our present economic conundrum. We have to be fair, to our individual consciences. If the special prosecutor has any conscience, he must be the first person who leave his office. He's a lawyer. He knows, he has infracted the law. He should resign and let a much more competent person do his job than to allow himself to be. He was appointed by the Akufo-Addo government. He was dining with the former finance minister. He did not know that the finance minister was dipping the coffers of the nation. Why was he silent? Why now? Let's give ourselves a break. A much more responsible person should occupy that and do things in a more civilized manner.
Professor?
We shouldn't allow our politicians to come and toy, with our future. We have the future generation. They are very young. You look at the average of the next generation of leaders, they are between 25 and 35. This is not the kind of thing that Ghana should show. We don't want to do this the type of dirty gutter politics. I'm not for it.
So, Mr. Asare, your point is that if he thought there were excesses in relation to the stated matters that he's investigating or his office is investigating, you're saying it should have been done before the election or before the coming in of the new administration?
My brother, how many times didn't Ghanaians talk about the cathedral and the financial losses? How many times? Where was the special prosecutor? Didn't he have his ears, put to the ground? When people were screaming in the National Cathedral, where was he? When the newspaper, the media, talked about the $58 million or something, where was he? Where was he? This one is just, one of the theatrical, shows that, another political party is trying to do against, its opponents. We shouldn't encourage that kind of nonsense.
All right. So let me ask you my next question then. You talked about the removal of the special prosecutor. In Section 15 of the OSP Act, it stated the grounds on which a special prosecutor could be removed. Now, let me just do recounts. I'm sure you're very much well versed because that's your profession.
It's incompetent. It's incompetent. He can be removed on grounds of dereliction of duty. I'm not going to waste my time on different grounds in the OSP law. We all know what has happened. Former ministers stole millions of dollars. He did nothing. It's a blatant show of incompetence. Incompetence. Dereliction of duty. Instead of responsibility. Now he's going to be used.
Mr. Asare, is that not what he's doing?
Of my anger against him.
No, I'm not sure.
Remember when one of my discussions on your show, I asked for the removal of the special prosecutor. That he had failed in his duties and responsibility to mother Ghana. He should have been removed. He should have gone with the Akufo-Addo regime. He should not be allowed to spew this kind of theatrical antics into our eyes. That would be just throwing dust into the eyes of many millions of well-meaning Ghanaians. He should go. He should go. Let a much more responsible special prosecutor be appointed. And then Ghanaians will know. But if you allow somebody who slept on his right, who under his watch, ministers stole millions, then all of a sudden he wakes up from his slumber to come and declare a former finance minister a fugitive and therefore a wanted man. I'm not saying that, former ministers cannot, be declared fugitive. But I'm against this a sort of, national disgrace and embarrassment to the whole nation. You see, we should not encourage, this kind of thing at all. At all. Let him come first to tell us what he has done. That Ken Ofori-Atta has not responded. For all we know, Ken Ofori-Atta may be in this country. For all we know, he may be, outside the country. But has he told the nation the efforts that he has embarked upon? And that the man rebuffed, him? No. But he cannot even in good conscience. He cannot in good conscience do, and should not be allowed to do it because, as I said, he was dining and whining, with the former finance minister. All of a sudden, he now finds, his prosecutorial cloak to go after, this person. If we have law,
Mr. Asari,
we have law, let us apply the law.
Mr. Asari.
Yes, my brother.
Is that not what he's doing? So on what grounds would you say that he should be removed on stated incompetence and misbehavior when in relation to the subject of actions or missions that might have happened under the Akufo-Addo-led government? We have somebody like Professor Frimpong Boateng, who headed a whole ministry, a whole inter-ministerial committee, and he was investigated or was being investigated by the special prosecutor. There's Cecilia Abuna-Dapa, who also in that instant case of cash found in her room, again, an action undertaken by this very special prosecutor, again appointed by the Akufo-Addo-led administration. So what really are you saying, Mr. Asari?
You see, when the Cecilia Abuna-Dapa issue arose, and I spoke on one of your shows, I did say that the special prosecutor should employ the long arm of the powers given him to bring the matter, to a close in a manner that will meet the reasonable expectations of Ghanaians. You see, now we rather want a ding-dong battle between the special prosecutor and some justices of the Superior Court. And I commented and said that was not, the way the special prosecutor ought to have conducted the Cecilia Abuna-Dapa, issue. That is one. The second one, Galamsey, is the special prosecutor saying that, he is visually impaired, to know what is going on, among the Chinese community, those involved in Galamsey, the Ghanaian, politicians involved in Galamsey, the party functionaries involved in Galamsey, the ministers who are stealing money. What did he do? That my ground of incompetence. So I'm saying that he should be removed. He himself, if he cannot resign, I mean, the president must fire him. And after doing this thing, after he has satisfied their whims and caprices, they will remove him. That's going to be another embarrassing, disgraceful, episode in our history. We shouldn't wait for that. He should go and let a much more competent, president. My brother, I'm telling you that from what I've just seen of what is going on, the value is the same. The value is the same. Okay. So let me chip in. Let me chip in this. I have this message from of appointing his friends and cronies and family members. Is Mahama not doing the same? The value is the same. I rest my case here.
Okay. Just a last one before you go. And I have this one from one of your former students. He said, Mr. Asari once told us that crime does not have an expiry date. Your former student says you once told them that crime does not have an expiry date.
I once told them what?
I'm saying, so I have this message from a former student of yours who is watching you and I. And he says, He once told me that crime doesn't have an expiry date. That you told.
I know.
It's funny, right?
What I'm saying is that we don't need a special prosecutor to come and declare a former finance minister a fugitive wanted.
I understand, but if I just suppose that by the law principle,
this is the line, of least resistance. Just declare, the person wanted and Ghanaians to say, aha, that's not the way to go. We should go about it in a more civilized manner. I'm saying that the present government should not use the special prosecutor to embarrass former appointees.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
It will happen to them next time.
All right. Is Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta your friend?
No, Ofori-Atta, he was my friend.
He's your friend?
He was a friend that we never did all my life.
Okay.
I spoke once with Ken Ofori-Atta, once when he published a book and I think somebody said it, data link or something. That was the one and only time. But let's call a trade a trade. He doesn't have to be my friend.
Okay. All right.
Say, the right thing.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Asari. Mr. Asari has been speaking to us. Very experienced, not only lawyer but also training administrator when it comes to the Ghana School of Law and then also Mount Crest. Mr. Ansah Asari joining us this morning. And further, this will be looked at next. Stay with us. All right, back.
What's better than love? Love with luxury. This Valentine's Day, 14 February, we're giving you the ultimate escape. It's Valentine's Cash Out and Chop Love. 5 lucky winners and their partners will enjoy a fully paid weekend getaway at a luxurious hotel.